If jiu-jitsu was to do away with ranks in the future, what would be lost besides just wearing the belt and keeping your kimono together?
Well, I think it leaves you less prepared to deal with the level of skill that you're going to be intertwined with, and the level of experience. So you could go up against a black belt or purple belt or whatever, and you're a white belt, and you just have no idea. I mean, a lot of people are very unsuspecting in this art. You wouldn't think they're a killer, but they're a killer.
Yeah.
Right. So
happens all the time.
And there is something about skill. The skill should be correlated to the color of your belt, but sometimes that skill, it's skill and experience, and contributions to the art. There's a lot that can go into what a rank actually is. And for some people, it's just, competition performance. For other people, they have a more holistic approach. I don't think that getting rid of rank, I also think it would greatly diminish the motivation that people have.
Yeah.
As an academy owner, I mean, I didn't use stripes. My affiliates and associated schools, they can do the ranking system as they wish. Like if they want to have stripes on every belt, they're more than welcome to. But I only awarded stripes at white belt to keep people motivated to get to the blue. And people need that little bit of affirmation to keep them going, because it's a rough road. You got to pay your dues for a while. And no matter how talented you think you are, against somebody with experience, you're racing them around the corner, but they're already waiting there at the corner, waiting for you. You think it's speed or athleticism. It's not. It's experience, knowing where you're going and meeting you there. And so it's a deeply frustrating journey for a lot of people. Particularly if they are usually really, really good at things right away. Because even if you are, you have a wrestling background, you have good top pressure and takedowns, and let's just use that as an example. Eventually, and you might find success at white belt and blue belt, but eventually you have to work on your weaknesses. You have to develop a playful guard. You have to learn how to be the ball and not just, the kind of smashing machine on top. And unless you are okay with humbling yourself and being not great in different positions, you have to do that work. You have to, kind of kill your ego, at least momentarily, and do that work if you really want to have a well-rounded game. So it's already tough enough, I think, if you do away with rank. I mean, they basically don't have rank in no-gi. To me, that's close enough. I think if you took away rank, it would be highly demotivating to people.
That's a very good argument. I think that's a very good point you're making. Let me ask you this: you mentioned that you like to use stripes for the white belts just to give them some sort of marker of how their progress is going, and you mentioned that it's a rough road in jiu-jitsu. Now, obviously, I don't have to tell you this, but it doesn't get easier after blue belt. The road stays long and difficult. Out of curiosity, why do you choose to cut off the stripes at that point? Do you feel at that point that the person has been sort of adapted enough to the fact that jiu-jitsu is very difficult, and that you can assume that they've just accepted it at that point, or is there a deeper reason behind removing stripes after white belt?
I don't have anything against stripes. It just, I saw what I would call rank expectation. I get a stripe every 6 months, and it's been a year since my last stripe, or 6 months, and now I'm due, and then they go to whatever, the big promotion, whatever it is, and they don't get it, and then now they're disgruntled. Now they're upset because I was supposed to get it, and that guy got it, and why did he get it? I beat that guy all the time, right? So I just said, keep them motivated to blue. Blue is a long slog. You can plateau at blue belt. You know some stuff, but then you have to work on other areas, and to be able to have that level of skill where you can step from one technique to the next technique without a big gap. At white belt, it's like that. And then at blue belt, it's closer. At purple, now I can step very smoothly from one to the next. At black, it's overlapping, one technique to the next. So I feel like that's enough of a skill demarcation between blue and purple. Plus, if you go into a competition and you have no stripes on your belt, that person doesn't know where you're coming from. Like you could be at the cusp of purple. You could have just gotten it. Who knows? But it was mainly the rank expectation that got me away from doing that. Either you have that level of skill and you've drilled enough to program your body so that it becomes unconscious and you can spontaneously react, or you haven't put in the work. And so all of those, that demarcation, that line between blue and purple, it's a different level of skill, and it's not just about, moving forward and marching forward every 6 months.
Yeah, very well said. Roy, there's something else you pointed out there that I'd love to zoom in on a little bit, because it's a very, very common demotivator and source of frustration for a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, and that is rank envy. You mentioned that you'll see a guy get promoted and you're like, man, I tap that guy all the time, or man, I just feel like I'm better than him, or I've been training longer than him. Why is he getting it, not me? What words of wisdom can you offer to students who feel like they're either just not getting promoted at the speed in which they wish they would, and B, students who feel like not only are they not moving fast enough in their own mind, but people who are around them that they perceive as being not as committed to them or not as good as them or whatever it may be, are moving up ahead? What words of wisdom would you offer to them to just sort of take it easy and focus on the goal at hand?
I would say be careful what you wish for. The darker your belt, the bigger the target on your back. And guys come after you. I mean, as black belt, at a brown belt, people kind of respect you and fear you, but at black belt, but they don't necessarily expect magic. At black belt, they expect magic. They expect you to tap them. They expect something really cool. And having that expectation, having to tap, I mean, especially when you first get your black belt, like you basically have to tap everybody all the time. And it can get a little old, less playful. Sometimes it can be playful, but that target, white belt to blue belt, you feel it for the first time there. And the guys that were right with you or just below, now you are the measurement of their skill. So if they can tap you as a fresh blue, well, then I deserve it too. And, everyone that's gotten promoted, they know what it feels like to have someone come after them, a regular training partner, but they have something extra that day. And so be careful what you wish for. There is a lot of expectation when you have a higher rank. I mean, it's a performance-based martial art. The expectations are already high. In the martial arts world, the skill level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very high, applicable skill. And then you go higher and higher and higher. And then among that rarefied community, you have a lot of expectations. So number one, be careful what you wish for, because you may not be, the responsibility can get old. Number two, people are promoted in different ways, I feel, depending on the personality. Maybe your instructor feels you need to compete more and be able to hold your own under that increased level of intensity. Maybe you are an especially gifted student athletically, and you can have mediocre mechanics and great athleticism and be effective. Maybe you're so naturally strong and gifted that they expect more of you. They expect better technique, even though you can overpower that other person and equal effectiveness. Other people, I have promoted students where they won't step up to that level of skill until they get promoted. Then they're like, man, I really need to fill in the I can't let my teacher down. And some switch happens inside of them, internally, mentally, where they have more, it's their mat. They have more authority. They're not going to get bowled over. They're not easily intimidated. They step up. Other people their instructor has greater expectations. They want him to continue to compete at a blue belt level, winning gold medals because he's trying to mold them into a champion. So he wants you to feel what that gold medal's like before he moves you on to the next level. So there's a variety of reasons. Trust your instructor and don't be afraid to talk to him about it. Very often I would wake up, especially as a blue belt, I'd wake up, do push-ups in the morning, like, I got to get my purple belt, but I wasn't sure exactly where I needed to work on. So he can give you those kind of specifics. He or she can give you those specifics to, okay, you need better hand placement. You need to pass the guard. You still can't pass the guard. What area are you lacking? And then work to fill that in. And you might as well get started at like white belt or blue belt in filling in those areas, because that continues. Even at brown belt, you think, oh, I'll be so good. Trust me, you will have gaps in your game and you will know about them. Other people may not see them, but you know about them. And you still want to fill them in at brown belt, because once you hit black belt, a lot of pressure.